You know what? It's very difficult knowing what these people and artists do and not saying what they do because I know they do it so well. So it's very difficult not to. Have you ever, saw somebody so great and you ask somebody, do they know that person? They like, I don't know who that person is. And you look at them like, how do you not know who that is? So that's kind of how I feel about these people, like they're already mainstream, right? Yeah. So here we are again. Who are you, and how did you evolve to where you are today?
Well, what's up, everybody? It's the poet, the artist, the creator, and energy curator, Drekkia, right? And we are live in the 501. Make some noise! So, when I was in 6th grade, I had a teacher who introduced us to poetry, and I entered into an online poetry competition, and surprisingly, I won. So I was able to get published into a book when I was in 6th grade. I was a published author when I was in 6th grade, y'all. Now, I won that, but I quickly was like, this was a scam. Because after I won, I realized everybody else won, and they wanted us to buy a book. But it was good because it did boost my self-esteem. But from 6th grade, I just found so much freedom in poetry because I'm actually shy. People don't think I'm shy, but I'm like terribly shy. Jesus Christ. But poetry gave me a voice, and it gave me just an outlet to express myself and be who I am today. But I do know when I got into spoken word poetry and actually performing, I was in 9th grade, and I was asleep, y'all. And the spirit woke me up. Like I had to write this poem. I was just coming out of 9th grade, and I had went through a lot of transformations in 9th grade. Ooh, Lord bless my heart. Jesus, thank you for bringing me where I am today. But I woke up out of my sleep to write this poem, and then I read it to my mama, and she was like, oh, I feel like you telling my story. And when you're young, you think your mama old. So I'm like, man, what is like old lady talking about? I'm telling her story. This is my story. How is it your story? But my mama, she made me read it at church. And the church folks, they celebrated me so good, even though I knew I did so bad. But after that, I felt like it's something I wanted to grow in. So I started taking public speaking classes at the Rufus K. Young Church in downtown Little Rock on Main Street. And from there, I felt like I was meant to do this because there was a guy who was helping me on my poem, and he told me, he was like, hey, you need to change up a couple of things because some people may not understand this, y'all, because I was a deep kid. Okay, I was really deep. And when he told me that at first, I was just like, okay, yeah, you're right. But then I came back and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be able to change this because if I change it, then whoever it's for, it's not going to get to them because I'm going to be doing what you wanted me to do and not doing what was put on my spirit to do. So from then I learned that my poetry is just who it's for. It don't got to be for everybody. And from then, my motto has always been, if I don't touch all, I'll touch one. If I touch none, then my mission is undone. So if one person is touched by anything that I do, I know I've done my job on this earth. So after that, I just continue doing that, and I just have evolved into a teaching artist. So that's what I do in my life. I do poetry for a living. I teach kids how to utilize the art of poetry to improve their communication skills, comprehension skills, literacy skills, and just give them freedom. So right now, I consider myself a person who liberates voices, youth voices, through the art of poetry. I help them build confidence because I believe our voices are the most powerful things that we own. And I want to show kids, and especially minority and at-risk youth, that they have that power to use their voice to change their environment, to change the world around them, to change the way somebody thinks, to change the way somebody feels about themselves. So I came from a published author in 6th grade to now being a teaching artist, and that's what I do full-time through my business, Seven of Arts. Thank you. Oh, I didn't put the mic up here.
Yeah, Yeah, we're limited on like our tools today, so we're sharing. Sharing is caring today. um, who would you say was originally a poet or someone who gave even speak for the first time that was impressive to you?
So actually, one of the first people I seen perform that I thought was so outstanding. There's this guy. He lives here in Little Rock. His name is True Poet, and when I was in ninth grade, I was trying to really tap into the world of poetry. And I went to a Little Rock School District Poetry Slam, but they would not let me perform because I went to a charter school. I went to East End Charter School, but they still let me come and open up the show. I just couldn't compete. But at that competition, I met True Poet and I saw him perform, and I just loved the theatrics of his poetry and the content of it, and that made me like want to do more. And I actually did my first group poem with True Poet, and as I evolved over the years, I've been able to be a part of a group called Foreign Tongues with him and alongside other dope poets. And right now we're even working on doing a slam against some other people in the city. So True Poet, that was the first person to really wow me, and I'd be like, oh wow, this is a thing. This is an underground world of poetry that I can be a part of.
I've heard some good things about True. I don't think I've ever heard him like in live in person, but I've heard some good things. What is a poetic piece that easily sticks in your mind? Like you easily know it about maybe 5 words in, 10 words in.
So now I have a friend named Oya the poet, and she has a poem, and it's about heartbreak and mermaids and stuff, y'all. I didn't even. It is so profound, but she got this line where she said, "I pretend like I needed a hero to save me. In the distance, it looks legit, but it's just a trick from a mystical lady. And I'm not saying what I'm doing is right. I'm just saying that at the bottom of the ocean, the day still looks like night." But she talked about how she said, I would will a man in with my voice, pretending that I needed a hero to save me. In the distance, it looks legit, but it's just a trick from a mystical lady. And I was like, whoa. It made me really think about life on a deep level. Like a lot of times how we can be lured in by things that we perceive to be beautiful and dope, but it's really a trick. We can get jaded by shallow things, and it just made me realize you just need to keep your eyes open, because I didn't know mermaids were also like called like sirens. And when I just learned about that, it just made me want to challenge the way that I think about the world.
Shout out to Oya. I like how all the poets are getting there. You know, it is. It really is. I remember that. It is. That being said, who's your favorite poet, or now and all time? Because I know it's probably hard to pick just one.
Oh, wow, that one is really hard. So I'll give you a list. My sister, Tasha Mayo. Oh, yeah, the poet, definitely. And there's a lady from Def Jam. Her name is Dana Gilmore. I really love her. And then there's an artist named Black Ice. And I really love him because he has a quote that really sticks with me. Like I literally got it on all my windows, well, my mirrors in the house. But there's a part of his poem where he just said, "Aim high, nigga." And I don't know why, but that hit me deep. Because I'm like, you right. Because they say when you aim for something, you usually hit your target. So, like, imagine if you did set the bar high for yourself and you believe that you can achieve great things. Like, you literally could do it. So, every day I look in the mirror, I need to be reminded to aim high, nigga. Yeah.
I'm reminded of that. There was like this public meme, and he gets in your face. And he's like, "You're dreaming too small," So it's the same thing. Yeah, you're right. Aim high. What would you say is some of your favorite work, or the best thing about delivering spoken word?
But the best thing about delivering poetry to me is just seeing how other people connect with your work. What I've come to realize is that I used to be really shy about sharing my work because it was personal. But I realized when people are listening to you, they don't really care about you. They care about how they can find themselves in what you are saying. So I love when people find themselves in what I created and it be something completely different than what I meant. So I don't, it makes me feel like seen, but still I get to be invisible at the same time, because poetry is vulnerable. So sometimes, when I was younger, I used to be like, I wrote this poem, but it's not about me. Yeah, this one is not about me. It's just, you know, something that I seen. But now I'm just like, I don't spend time trying to put out disclaimers and stuff like that because people are wanting to connect to real experiences and be able to see themselves in you. And when you realize that like your voice is not just for you, if God gave you a gift to be able to share and articulate certain things, that is a gift. And a lot of people take it for granted because it comes natural to them. But I realize it is a true gift. And when you have that gift, it is not just for you. So I see beyond myself when I perform. I pray before I do anything, and I ask that God allow me to touch people how He want me to touch them, and like give them what they need and not what I want them to have. I have to free myself of ego because we can sometimes become so consumed about ourselves. And I heard Brittany talk about this earlier when she did her show. She put on what made her feel good. And that's important when you're on a stage that you feel good about you and you're not worried about what somebody else thinking about you because it can literally impact how somebody receives you. So,
Well, I might just make this a 2-in-1. Would you say, is that what helped you continue? Is that what inspires you to continue writing, or where are you drawing inspiration from these days? Where is, is it your experiences, or is it somebody else's experiences that you just find like, that makes me want to write something?
So the main thing that keeps me going is actually being able to teach my skill set to other people, and particularly kids, because again, poetry gave me a voice. It allowed me to step outside my shell. It's gave me opportunities that I never would have been exposed to had I allowed myself to be consumed with my own fear of being in front of people and speaking. So with that liberation that I found in using my voice, what keeps me going is that I know there's so many other kids out here who need a key to be unlocked. They need to be told that they matter, that their voice matters. Because something that I realized in the classroom is that minority students, literally, when you ask them to get up and speak, it's like you asking them to get up and get naked. And I'm like, why is that when Black people are literally the most animated people in the world? It's just whatever fear that is that we do have instilled in us at a young age, it has to be, that shield has to be taken off so that we can step into that next dimension. So for me, being able to show kids like, hey, you don't have to be shy. I want you to use your voice. I want you to be able to use your mind and articulate your thoughts, because again, your voice is the most powerful thing you own. Y'all know that what we consume with our ears and our eyes determines how we think, feel, and behave. So when you know the power of your voice and how it can impact not only you, but the people around you, that is a skill. That is a superpower. And some people, they don't do right by it, but I want to teach them that you have power, like just how people be listening to the preacher, Mr. Peter Popoff, that be up there selling miracle water, people sending in their money and all that, because he's been able to utilize his voice to convince people to believe in the things that he believes in through his voice. Y'all hear that? Through the voice, like just the voice, the speech. He ain't got to lay hands on nobody. Didn't have to give nobody no money. Literally using their voice. And I want to teach kids how to liberate themselves through their voices. So that's what keeps me going.
Yes, I always stay in tune with the youth. What would you say, once you go somewhere or you experience something, it immediately takes you back to I don't know, about 11, 12 years old. Like when you smell it or see it, or you walk in some place and you just like, oh, I remember the first time, you know.
Y'all remember Avon? Man. So Avon actually used to have some roll-on deodorant, y'all. And there was this scent called Pink Suede. And Pink Suede, it'll take me back to living on Queensboro Drive in some apartments right across from McClellan High School. And I remember when I lived over there, me and my brother, we would be playing in the ditch, playing with frogs. Like we used to be so careless and free and adventurous. And that Pink Suede, it take me back to that moment of like freedom and not being weighed down by the world. So Pink Suede by Avon, definitely. And the second one is another scent called Skin Musk. Now, my mama loves Skin Musk, y'all. I don't like it. Like, I don't want it on me. She like it. Even my little sister like it. But that smell, it's nostalgic because it reminds me of my mama, but it also, it's an enjoyable smell too at the same time because my mama has always worn it. So it reminds me of consistency. And that's one of those things that I consistently work on, trying to be consistent. And I love it. I love the smell, just not on me. Don't put it on me because it stay on your clothes and everything after you wash it. It's some strong stuff. It works, okay? And the last smell would be watermelon. Like watermelon has this faint smell, but it has a smell. And it's beautiful and it's nostalgic because it just reminds me of my grandpa. And I just love my grandpa so much because he sewed so much into me. And I just think about when he was alive, the things that he used to give me, I feel like it really contribute to who I am. Like I would go over there and he would always go to the junkyard. So he would always come back with something. And he used to always have like a box of pens and pencils. And he would give them to me. And he would always give me some luggages. So I just took that as, man, this is very symbolic that my grandpa believed in me, my ability to write and create poetry. And he wants me to travel, go and see the world and get to do things that he didn't get to do. So I love the smell of watermelon because it reminds me of my grandpa. So Pink Suede, Skin Musk, and watermelon are nostalgic scents for me.
That's incredible. I remember, like when you said Avon, my mind instantly went there. I was like, I know exactly what the first person. Yeah, yeah. Skin's so soft. Skin's so soft.
That's a dangerous thing though, because y'all ain't never slipped. I'm still traumatized.
Wow. So we're now at question 10, and it's interesting because your art is vibration in words, and I like how when you spoke about somebody using their words, how powerful it can be. And sometimes we underestimate the power of sound because we have a couple amps here, right? And I think we'll understand the magnitude if we all turned our amps up as loud as they could go and then play. And you'd be like, "Oh wow, sound is powerful." Yeah, it is. So would you demonstrate and do a couple demos for us of some artful impressions?